Some Democrats considering a 2028 presidential run are getting makeovers. Axios observing that in this era of social media, potential candidates are hoping it might give them a boost with voters. And it cites fitness and weight loss efforts by some 2028 hopefuls, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who says he now walks about 5 miles every morning, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, who have been getting some attention for recent weight loss as well. Fashion has also been part of the equation for Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He's updated his wardrobe and is sporting some new glasses. California Governor Gavin Newsom getting high marks for his looks, though some think he might be a little too stylish for some voters. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg opting to grow a beard to cultivate a scruffier image that could give him a more relatable look. So how important is all of this? NewsNation contributor and political and media strategist Kurt Bardella is with us. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Gavin Newsom looks too good. Others are trying to get in better shape. What do you make of all this?
Oh, it's a brutal business, isn't it? My gosh, every single thing about you is scrutinized. How you look, your facial hair, what kind of clothes you're wearing, what kind of shoes you're wearing. As always, the cosmetic portion of the presidential primary is always going to be the most mind-numbing and at times superficial and not very deep. But it does matter. We're voting for president, and people connect with you in different ways. Whether it's the kicks you're wearing or the type of knot you put in your tie. These things all become signature ways in which people identify you. My advice to all candidates is always do what's authentic. Don't try to be something you're not. If you are that more, a blue collar type like a Tim Waltz, then lean into that. If you're more of a GQ kind of guy, which I think that kind of fits the Gavin Newsom mold, then lean into that. If you're a dad like Pete Buttigieg is, and you got 2 young kids, the scruff is a part of life. You don't always have time to shave when you got 2 kids crying all day. So, just be authentic. Don't try to be something you're not. Don't put on a suit that doesn't fit you, literally and figuratively. And the most important thing for voters is to be able to connect with your most authentic self. That is the type of thing that you're going to need if you're going to try to be president of the United States.
Yeah, authenticity. You're absolutely right about that. And relatability. When it comes to social media, how have you seen politicians morph into, more relatable, people, not just in policy, but in everyday issues? And how critical has social media, Kurt, become in the whole picture of it all?
Well, in a lot of ways, it's become one of the most defining aspects of your persona. And Donald Trump really did change the game. And whether you like or hate him, or you agree with what he says or doesn't, I don't think anybody ever doubts that when Donald Trump goes off on a truth social rant, it sounds like Donald Trump. I mean, this is how the guy talks. This is authentic. I think when you hear the quips that we're getting from Gavin Newsom on social media, that sounds kind of like how Gavin Newsom really is. And so I think, again, if you're being authentic and you're not trying to be something that you're not, if you're not really that tough guy, smart aleck persona, don't pretend to be that on social media. You're just a keyboard warrior. If you're trying to be more of a peacemaker and let cooler heads prevail type, okay, but I better not see a video of you losing your mind with your staff and yelling at them and acting like a hothead. So just be sure you're being true to who you are and not trying to be something that you're not.
So in addition to appearance, it does come down to the issues for people. What have you seen among Democrats, and what are the conversations that are happening when it comes to policy issues and how that is starting to take shape as we end this year and head into next year's midterms?
There's really 3 buckets here. There's the super progressives who like to play to that base, and I think of people like AOC and Mondami who go all in on left. There are the just anti-Trumpers. Everything Trump does is bad, and I'm just going to hate on Trump 24/7 and hold his feet to the fire and call him out and troll him. There's been a lane for that, and then there's the where would we like the Democratic Party to go? Where would we like politics to go after Trump, people who are offering a bit more of a broader vision that isn't so linked and tied to everything that Donald Trump and the Republican Party does. And I think that's a really important component. It's not enough just to tell people what you're against and what you don't like. You got to tell people what you're for. You got to inspire voters to get behind a competing vision that you're offering. And I think that's one area in which Democrats have struggled with in recent years. Is we know you're against Donald Trump. We know you hate everything he does. You think he's the worst of all time, but you got to offer people something more than just hate. And I think that's going to be the person who breaks through the most as we look ahead to 2028 is a Democrat that can both contrast with the Republican Party and Donald Trump, who won't be on the ballot presumably in 2028, but offer a vision of what the Democratic Party really stands for, not just caricatures.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.